Okay, what's up, everyone? It is Friday, May 20th, and what we're gonna look at right now is we're gonna go back into the brain frequencies and explore more about the frequencies that are outside of the human body, frequencies that affect the human body, and frequencies that supposedly go through the human body. And then you'll see what I'm trying to make again with this. It's a little bit different from the last one. So let's just move up. So we already heard about, we already read, right here, we already read how telecommunication affects the nervous system. We went over how in both the nervous and the endocrine system, signals are passed from one cell to another through chemical communication. In the nervous system, nerve cells send messages electrochemically. So we explored that fact where the human body and the human brain and the human nervous system is supposedly on its own isolated individual circuit, but we did also go over how all isolated circuits are in fact still interconnected via electromagnetic potential and electromagnetic fields and other of the electromagnetic uh, radiation that's listed in the spectrum, how it envelops all isolated circuits, so nothing is actually at, totally isolated. Everything is actually overlapping each other. If you haven't seen that episode, you can scroll down and you'll find it right there. It was the other episode on frequencies. So listening into brain communications without surgery. So our research has found that nerve cells communicate. Let me see. Listening to the brain without surgery. Plenty of legitimate science plus a whole lot of science fiction. Always hack the brain. So we've seen movies where they're hacking the brain, and we already went over that information that yes, propaganda on telecommunications does in fact hit your core memory bank, especially if it's imagery, letters and words. Your core memory bank has its own self-defense system that I could bring up on another episode. And what your self-defense system does is it protects its own core memory bank, and that's what leads to cognitive dissonance, the Dunning-Kruger effect, and other ways that your brain tries to deal with a different reality that will destroy its own internal core memory bank, and it's the data that's stored within the human mind. And so we've gone over this already, and wireless connections within the brain. My group believes we are the first to have discovered a new way nerve cells communicate with each other. Nerves are well known to connect through physical links or what might be called wired connection. Our research has found that nerve cells also communicate wirelessly by using the wired activity to create tiny electric fields of their own and sensing the fields neighboring cells create. This creates the possibility of many more neural pathways and can help explain why different parts of the brain connect so quickly during the execution of complicated tasks. We also went over on the last episode how people have lost chunks of their head due to circumstantial reasons, freak accident and stuff like that, and they're walking around with deformed heads, yet their brain was ever able to generate new brain cells and new neural pathways, and they function as like normal people, just with a deformed head. Okay, so that's already, we've already gone over this. It's a fact, and as you can see the imagery there, um, that's exactly more or less what I was trying to explain on the last one. That the human mind extends beyond the human body, the carnal body that we feel and touch. It has some type of boundary, a physical boundary, the skin being but beyond that, our human mind and our human electromagnetic essence actually extends far beyond the carnal body. And that's a proven fact, and we've already discussed how sense of direction, which is also one of the senses, and sense of near temperature, that's also one of the senses. that mainstream science does not speak about or bring up in any in their basic education. You know, they don't bring up these other senses. And we explained that the sense of direction is basically tied to the polarity that's beyond, that's outside externally of the human body. That's how we are able to stay oriented and know that, you know, if we're keeping aware direction of north and south, we can always find our way back, or, you know, or always, if you pay attention to that, you could feel it within you. So that's exactly that is something that we've already established. The human mind does in fact extend beyond the carnal body. That is a total fact. Okay. So we've already discussed the fact that the human body, and that includes the circulatory, not just the nervous system, is in fact an electromagnetic. It functions on an electromagnetic field. And as you can see right here, human vibration parameter comparison and result discussion. According to the existing research, the natural frequency of a human standing body is about 7.5 hertz, and the frequency of a sitting posture in the cab is generally 4 to 6 hertz. So this is something that is already known. We've already discussed this on the other one. And this is funny. On the Scientific American, they were like, the hippies were right. It's all about vibrations, man. So this one's kind of old. We went over this a long time ago on one of the groups that got zucked. You know, obviously, what the point I'm going to make is going to be a reason why they zuck these type, and they remove all the posts that I make that are in regards to this, because it definitely implies your own power, your own creative force, your own creative powers that you have, that you probably are like, wait a minute, Simon, is that what you're leading to? Yeah, that's exactly where I'm leading to. So why are some things conscious and others apparently not? Is a rat conscious, a bat, a cockroach, a bacterium, an electron? You know, and you know what? You guys can go back to this and read it yourselves. But on the side note, on this topic right here, this specified topic on what is conscious and what is not, I've seen plenty of videos of microscopic interactions between, you know, amoebas and bacteria and you know, all the smaller, the inner space that's within, you know, the smaller particles, the microcosm that supposedly floats within the body. And see, that was the difference between, like, oh yeah, you know, science, you know, they're like, yeah, mainstream scientists, they're like, yeah, we isolated it in a petri dish. A petri dish is not the natural environment for any of the microcosmic particles that are considered as, you know, living or non-living, or however they want to define it. The petri dish is not its natural environment. So when they say that they've done something in a petri dish, that is not even close to being, you know, to applying to humanity in any way or form. The human body has its own environment within it that these microscopic particles and microscopic living life forms live. And I've, like I said, getting to the point on this specific topic, that you literally see little life forms getting chased down, and you know, by larger, you know, or by you know, it's you know, predator life forms inside. And you know, I don't know what it, you know, on one of the videos, I don't actually know what it is, but you could see its panic. Okay, you could straight out see the panic of that poor living particle. It is running for its life. It is panicking, and it is running and trying to get around. And there's this white blood cell, and there's no stopping the white blood cell. The white blood cell is chasing it down, and you could see that poor little thing, whatever it may have been. For all we know, it could have been, you know, something that's deadly to humans. But irregardless of the fact, that little life form was, you could feel, just watching that, you could see, you could feel that poor little life form knew it was about to die, and it was running for its life, trying to hide from the white blood cell. But the white blood cell was relentless, caught up to it, and did in fact kill it. It consumed it. Okay, it consumed it. So for this question right here, what is conscious? Because when you look at viruses, according to germ theory, viruses are not alive. They're not alive. But yet, for some unknown reason, they claim that this non-living human threat somehow knows which organ on which species to attack in order to to continue existing, because that's what they're saying. They're saying that the virus uses us humans as a form of existing. That we're like its platform. We're like its universe. We it runs through us, is what they're saying. They themselves say that, but yet it's not alive, and it doesn't. So it has. That's why it shows no intelligence. So like even that itself is questionable, because it looks like that would be even that you could even claim instinct. So there's major contradictions with mainstream when it comes to germ theory versus versus terrain theory, because those are both competing theories. Okay, so moving forward and beyond the fact that every single cell in your body has a certain amount of energy and frequency that it's vibrating at, or a specific frequency that it's supposedly vibrating at. Okay, and as even under certain monitored deaths of people, the human body doesn't lose its energy right away. That's something we also got to consider. When someone dies, their energy doesn't leave right away. The decay starts, and as the decay progresses, the human energy on that body slowly starts to dissipate. So this is something that we all have to take into consideration. Okay, so moving beyond that, so what is IR and RF remote control? Okay, so IR stands for infrared. Oh yeah, that's what it does say right there. I was about to explain that, but it says it's all right there. Yeah, IR stands for infrared and means the remote must be pointed directly at the receiver. RF stands for radio frequency and means the remote is multi-directional. All right. So does RF remote work on IR devices? It can use IR, RF, Bluetooth, or Wi-Fi. The IR devices rely on light signals in the infrared range for wireless remote access. So what this is saying is, what I'm trying to show right here is via infrared waves and radio frequency and Bluetooth, which is basically radio still. So via these waves, we are able to control and direct certain devices. And in turn, these devices control us back. Exactly like I explained, all the circuits are interconnected via electromagnetic fields and interaction between electromagnetic and electrostatic potentials. Okay? So we know this is totally possible. We can actually control specific devices, remote control devices, and control their behavior. This does not just stop with toys, unless you want to consider a roach a toy. Now I want to show you guys something. Roach remote control. Now you can buy this. You can buy this online. This came out years ago, and they finally commercialized it. And what you do is you stick you yourself. It's a kit. So what you do is you yourself install. The roach doesn't come in the kit, obviously. So you get the kit, and then this little chip, you install it onto the back or by the head of a roach or a beetle, and then you're able to remotely control this living being, with basic commands, forward, backward, kind of like a little car. So basic commands, you're able to command it. All right, this is totally true. It's a kit for children. A lot of people are like, wow, they can't believe that. but it's a real one. See, watch. They also have the toy one. They're called cyborg cockroaches. And as you can see right here, wirelessly control a cyber cockroach. Are you a teacher or parent that wants to teach a student about advanced neural technologies? You're in luck. After 3 long years of research and development, the Robo Roach is now ready for its grand release. We are excited to announce the world's first commercially available cyborg. With our Robo Roach, you can briefly wireless control right movement of the cockroach by micro stimulation of antenna nerves. The Robo Roach is a great way to learn about neural microstimulation, learning, and electronics. So as you can see, you could actually buy this kit, and there's how small it is when it comes, and the instructions on how to put it on there, how to put it on the poor roach. Of course, like I said, the roach does not come in the kit, but so you could work this on a large roach or a beetle. There's videos on how it's done, how they do it. It doesn't look that bad. It's not like you're it's dissecting the roach, but yeah, it's the real thing. And so moving forward, so what we have is so immediate exposure and sympathetic nervous system and reactive. So the sympathetic nervous system. Let me back up right on that one. Let me back up on that one. Meditation. All right, meditation. And what I'm talking about is in mass. And the reason why we're going to this is because when you have millions of people, so 112 million people watched the Super Bowl, right? On the 2022, this one over here is saying 208 million. Okay, so when you have 208 million people and they're all watching something, and then their attention, and when I say attention, pay attention to the word attention. All right, you might want to like define it with the English dictionary. I know you're like, yeah, I know what it means. Like, every 10 years, sometimes you gotta re-look up a word, and so you can get a different perspective out of your experience in life and comparison, and it comes back to you a little bit differently each time. After 10 years. So yeah, look that up. Look that word up. And so everyone's paying attention, focusing and paying attention, and then a commercial comes on about carbon footprint. Let's just say that. They're like, oh yeah, the carbon footprint, blah blah blah. So now you have 208 million or 112, how many? It doesn't matter. Let's round it off. Let's say 110 million. Or you know what? Let's get in between the 110 and the 208, because they don't seem to get their numbers right. Let's say 150. 150 million people are watching something focused. Then they see something that influences them all, and it's now that influence has passed in mass to all the people who at the same time have the same focused feelings, the same attention, the same frequency. These people now shot back all the same frequency. back into the electromagnetic fields that surrounds them. Okay? Do you guys get what I'm saying here? Okay? This is a form of meditation. All right? Mainstream media is a form of mass prayer. It's the same thing. Whenever you watch something on TV, your imagination has to complete the perception of what you're going to have about what you just imagined. This, in fact, creates a potential. So that potential is now recycled by 150 million people. All right? This is the same thing as being in a church. When there's 100 people in a church and they're all meditating, they are all trying to reach, where was it at right here? The same frequency. Where's it at? Yeah, the same human frequency. Everyone is trying to be on the same frequency. All right? The reason why this is important is because reality and existence is based on frequencies. Okay? So when people say, does prayer work? Yes. And the more people praying about the same thing, yes. Yes, it works. It's a fact. It's a fact. All right? The human body has a frequency. If you could get a bunch of people to radiate, transmit, and receive that same frequency, okay, that affects the electromagnetic and electrostatic potential that's beyond the human body. Okay? So, meditation. So, let's look at this. Let's go over meditation and the nervous system. Through meditation, you are essentially deactivating your sympathetic nervous system and turning on your parasympathetic branch. Rhodes says, initial studies have found that over time, this practice can help reduce pain, depression, stress, and anxiety. Your heart rate. Meditation activates the parasympathetic nervous system and downregulates the sympathetic nervous system in part by just helping us relax. Okay, so on top of radiating a certain frequency, you are also calming your body down. All right. Central and autonomic nervous system interaction is altered by short. You can see right here. Five days of integrative body-mind training improves attention and self-regulation in comparison with the same amount of relaxation training. This paper explores the underlying mechanisms of this finding. We measured the physiological and brain changes at rest rate during and after 5 days of IBMT and relaxation training. During and after training, the IBMT group showed significantly better physiological reactions in heart rate. So as you can see that that meditating, how you could call it prayer if you want, and you could pray to whatever you want. Basically, the point is to get as many people on the same frequency. A mass frequency does in fact, exactly like on remote control, okay, it goes back out into the electromagnetic fields. Thought goes back out in mass. It's a large thought that goes out. Okay? And we already seen that media exposure and sympathetic nervous system reactivity. So we could see that they do this to us. They use this always on the population. And the Super Bowl is a great prime example of when they try to get everyone, or all humanity, on the same frequency. They're watching the sports, but in between the sports, we all know one of the main reasons for the Super Bowl is to actually advertise. Okay, and advertising and advertisements are based, or are their end result is that they're trying to influence you. That's what they're trying to do. That's the point of it. That's the whole point, is to influence you. Now, when humans start returning this power and using it for themselves, like in churches, it does in fact help them. It does in fact work. It does in fact, change reality around them. Like, why is the church right now under attack? I mean, and they're not really telling you can't be religious. What they're saying, you can't be in mass anymore. They don't want humans at all in groups, on the same frequency. They are intentionally isolating humans from humans in boxes, and all these boxes are supposedly spaced out at a certain amount, and within this space of boxed humans, they're all on the same frequency, and that frequency is reinforcing that system of boxing up humans. Now, the Central Intelligence Agency, we can all look that up, what they do. And just those words alone, okay? Central Intelligence Agency. So they want to centralize intelligence and enforce that said intelligence. And just like, anything else that we've talked about, hunger, poverty, these weird words that they use, what do they mean by intelligence? What do you consider being, so to them, intelligence would be anything that progresses their agenda. Okay, that's intelligent to them. Maybe not to you, but to them it is. That's the that's what they're doing. So the Central Intelligence Agency is basically trying to influence humans. And if you've looked up, Operation, Ultra, was it Ultra K or MK Ultra? Operation MK Ultra, which did happen. It is real. They don't deny it. MK. The CIA's quest for mind control. Okay, this is not nothing new, you guys. Okay, by them isolating humans and not letting humans work together and meditate to create their own frequency, and by them taking over telecommunications industry with their government frequencies, and by government, I know exactly the word what it means, to govern the mente, to govern the mind. Okay, so this is what's going on right now. Your mind is being governed by literally propaganda that they're pushing out. This is not something new. In fact, this is everything that they planned. You got people believing something that happened from the 1960s that's on TV. And you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. During the Cold War propaganda, some people didn't seem to care about anything because they were lost in heavenly belief system. They got lost looking up at the sky. Nixon himself said it. He said it. What you have done is you have made the heavens a part of man's world. That's exactly what he told them. All right? You guys know what I'm talking about. Late 1960s, early 1970s, humans were literally bedazzled, not paying attention, lost in a fantasy on television. And if you guys haven't seen the footage, it is very, very, very stupid. All right? Everyone that's running around trying to back up Apollo missions, I'm betting you never seen the mission footage. Because had you seen that stupid televised footage, you would not be backing them up. All right? You guys need to watch that stupid footage, all right, with an open mind. Here's what we're going to talk. Here's my point, where I'm getting to. All right? So, when you no longer subscribe to their mainstream media and United Nations 2030 agenda, your mind opens up again. It is no longer isolated. You start to feel it. You feel your own inner sense extending beyond your carnal body out around you. You start to feel reality again. All right? You cannot do that if you're watching mainstream media and you're sitting in a box. You are isolating yourself from all other circuits. All right? It is a willful isolation. You yourself are doing it only because you are being manipulated. Like remote control. All right? This is not pseudoscience in any way or form. It is absolutely all 100% true. All right? All perception, all reality, from senses to consciousness, to thought, to sound, to hearing, to seeing, all of it is based on frequencies. These frequencies are outside and within and around the human body. All right? The mind is not stuck in your brain. It is not. Your mind extends beyond your isolated body that they try to claim is making its own electricity, when we all know, and we've already gone over this, all electromagnetic interaction within any cabling or wire is actually still tied. Exactly like the human body, okay? It's tied to all the electromagnetic and electrostatic potential that is outside the body. Matter of fact, it is not really even to be seen that way. If you want to look at it at a different perspective, us humans are actually within a sea of electromagnetic and electrostatic potential. Here's where the ancients spoke about and called the waters above, the waters below. Okay? It's not a liquid, guys. When the ancients start talking about the waters above and the waters below, they're not talking about liquids. All right? They're talking about this ocean of electromagnetic and electrostatic potential. Do you guys even science, bro?